Hi, this is John Paul from Breathing Journeys, here just to share a wee Christmas story with you. So, we all know who Santa Claus is, this amazing magical figure that rides his sleigh around the world in just 24 hours with these fantastic reindeer delivering gifts to people all over the world, loved by children everywhere. But it wasn't always the case for Santa, and if we go back a wee while, we find he was in quite a different situation altogether. Poor Santa Claus, one time, had kind of lost his way, and he was drinking a bit too much, and he'd lost his job, and he was so bad to be around that his wife had left him, and he was just generally pretty miserable and down in the dumps, and he was fed up living in the North Pole at the time with the cold and the snow, and thought, God, there's nothing to do around here. What am I going to do in my life? And his only real companion at the time was his trusty reindeer, Rudolph. He wasn't looking after Rudolph too well either, and was slipping Rudolph a bit of drink, and Rudolph ended up with this really red nose from the drink that Santa Claus had too. So they were a bit of a pair, to be honest. And Santa Claus had this real longing to be doing something good in the world. In his heart, he knew there was something that he had to offer the world, but he just couldn't really find what that was, and didn't really know how to get himself any closer to finding how it was. So he was just kind of drifting through his days and feeling a bit lost and confused. And he knew something had to change, but he didn't really know how to go about things. But one day Rudolph was out kind of moaning with his friends, oh God, Santa, he's in a bad way, and he's just going down and down and down. What am I going to do? We're living in this little shack and life just isn't too good right now. And one of them said to Rudolph, says, look, we've heard of this person who lives not too far from you, he's a breath worker. He does this amazing thing with the breath, and it can really help people get through bad patches in their life. Maybe you should suggest to Santa Claus that you give him a call, and we've got his details if you want to get in touch with him. So Rudolph thinks, oh, all right, okay, I'll get back to him. So I was sitting by the fire, I got a last little bit of coal and wood burning away, and Santa's just staring gloomily into the fire and pondering his situation. And Rudolph says, look, Santa, I was out today and I found something perhaps that might be of use to you. And Santa's like, what? Really? So he's not really looking too enthused by it, but Rudolph says, no, listen, there's someone who can maybe help you. Would you be interested? And Santa says, well, to be honest, right now, anything that could help me, I'd probably be interested in. So what is it? Rudolph says, I don't really know, but there's someone that works with the breath. It's called Breathwork. And apparently he just helps people through a rough patch. And my friend, the reindeer, thought it might be useful to you, so we could give it a go. So Santa said, how do I get in touch with him then? Could try it, I suppose. So Rudolph, next week, he goes back and sees his reindeer friends, and he says, he's actually interested. I think I've got him interested. How do I get in touch with him? And so he's given the address of this person that works with the breath. And so gives it back to Santa Claus, and a few more weeks go by, and Rudolph is thinking, is he not going to get around to it? This heading deeper into winter. It's getting gloomier, what's he going to do? And he says, Santa, remember that breath worker I told you about? You going to do anything about it? And he says, aye. Yeah, well, But time goes on and still nothing happens. He's still hitting the drink. And one morning Santa wakes up and he thinks, this cannot go on any longer. I have to do something about this. I'm out of money. I'm out of fuel. My reindeer's getting fed up with me. My wife is not interested in coming back. I have to do something about this. So he goes off out the door to find this person who does this thing called breathwork, and knocks on the door, and answered by this individual who is looking at Santa, thinking, who have we got here? And Santa Claus says, look, I got your details from one of the reindeer. He said, you do something called breathwork. And he says, oh yeah, that's something I can do. My name is Sobriety. So how can I help you? And Santa Claus says, well, I'm just in a bit of a situation, and I don't really know where I'm going in my life, and I want to get sorted out and really get back on my feet and get back into work. And my wife's left me, and I'm hoping she can maybe come back at some time. And most of all, I want to be doing something worthwhile in my life. I really feel like I've got something to give. Can you help me with this? And the breathworker says, I think we can probably help you with that. So I'm going to give you an appointment for next week, and why didn't you come back then? But in the meantime, what I want you to do is to sit and get clear about what you want to be doing in your life, Santa, and write some things that you think would bring you happiness in your life and fulfillment. So, and I'll see you next week. So Santa goes back home, and he gets busy, gets to the table and finds a bit of paper and some pens, and Rudolph is watching with great interest. And so he writes down all these things that he wants for his life, and to feel well and healthy, and to have his wife back, and to not be drinking so much, not giving up completely, he doesn't think, but not so much, and to have friends, and to be doing work. Most of all, he wants to be doing work that is really, really fulfilling and brings him a lot of joy, and writes this all down. So the next week he goes off and sees this breath worker, Sobriety, and they get to work, and he does his first breathwork session, and he comes back home and he feels pretty good. Rudolph thinks, oh, he's looking a bit younger, he's got a bit of a sparkle in his eyes, this is looking promising. And the first time in ages, Santa makes himself some really good food, gives Rudolph a really good feed as well. He starts eating nice and healthily. And the next day, he's out taking a wander about, and he sees a newspaper, and he buys it, and he's looking through the job ads, and he just sees this one advert that sticks out, catches attention. There's not too many jobs in the North Pole, so it's pretty obvious. And it says, wanted by Present Distribution Limited, distributor for worldwide gift service, must be able to provide own transport and work nights. And Santa Claus thinks, oh, that could be interesting, maybe I'll check it out. So he goes and writes off to them for more details, and is waiting on that coming back. And then in the meantime, he goes off for another breathwork session. He's going to have like sessions every week, so he goes off and sees the breathworker, and he says, well, what happened? He says, well, I just seen this job, actually. It looks very interesting, and I've sent off for more details. And Sobriety, the breathworker, says, oh, that sounds interesting, that's great. So anything else that you want to get clear about? And Santa says, well, if they get back to me, I'd like to be able to, fill in the form well, or go through the application process really well. I'd like to be in good form for it. So that's what they do a breathwork session on. And Santa goes back home, and the next day he sees that this job details have arrived. So he looks at the form, and he feels quite empowered from his breathwork session. His mind is really clear, and he's feeling really creative. So he sits down and is able to fill out the form with a bit of help from Rudolph, it has to be said, when he gets into the personal quality section. So he fills out the form, and he sends it off, and he thinks, well, here's hoping for the best, Rudolph. Says we have to work nights, but that should be okay for us, I think, wouldn't it? And Rudolph says, yeah, that not a problem for me. So what happens is a week later he gets told that he's been selected for interview for this job, and he thinks, oh cripes, I got an interview, and he starts getting all nervous and anxious and panicky. He thinks, oh, I'm terrible, they're never going to give me a job. Oh, maybe I should have some whiskey. And Rudolph says, oh, just hold on there, Santa, let's go back and let's get you another breathwork session. So Santa, still feeling a bit kind of on edge, goes off and sees his breath worker. And he says, well, what's the situation, Santa? And Santa says, well, I've got this interview now, and I'm quite excited, but I'm really nervous. And I just, to be honest, I mean, who'd employ me, you know? Look at me. I'm overweight and drink too much, and, you know, I just don't feel very good about myself. And Breath goes, well, how do you want to be feeling for the interview? And says, well, I like to be feeling really confident and inspired and enthused and really clear about what I can offer. And so Breath goes, okay, that's what we'll do today. That's what we'll work on. So they do another session, and Santa goes back home and he's feeling really good. He feels in quite a different place, and he starts tidying up his house and making the space really nice. And you know, it's been such a mess for so long, but he does a lot of dusting and clearing up and throwing out his old stuff and getting his food cupboard in order and chopping logs and just really doing a lot of stuff he hasn't gotten around to for a long time. And he's thinking about how to approach this interview he's got coming up. And word has got around that he's going for this job, and his wife comes by. She's not been living with him, but she's heard that he's kind of looking better, so she comes back and says, what's happening? He says, oh, I'm applying for this job. And he tells her all about it. Oh, that looks interesting, and you've made a big difference on the house, and you're looking well, this is great. So let me know how it goes. And off she goes again. So he gets his interview and goes along, and it's quite tough. You know, they're asking him all these questions and saying, you know, we heard you got a bit of problem with the drink. Are you okay? And he says, you know, can you do the job? And he says, oh, I think I can, you know. And he finds out all about it, and it's quite a tall order. I mean, they want him to basically get around the world in 24 hours and delivering presents to all these children around the world. And at the end of the interview, they say to him, well, we're not in the business of taking you on as an employee. You'll be self-employed, but you'll have to provide your own transport and insurance and all that kind of thing. And Santa's like, oh, this is the way of the world now, isn't it? You know, we're all contract workers. So they're saying, you know, can you do that? And he's saying, yeah, I can do that. I'll get a vehicle. And he's thinking, where am I going to get a vehicle to do all of this, you know? And on the basis of him, you know, being up for doing all that and getting his own transport and committing to the job, they say, well, if you're ready, we'll have you starting in a month's time. Can you do that? And Santa says, absolutely, yes, of course I can do it. And they said, great, so get back to us when you're ready to go, and we'll fill you in on how you get started. So he goes back home and he tells Rudolph, and he says, Rudolph, I got the job. And Rudolph's, great. He says, but I've got to get around the world in 24 hours and deliver presents to all these children, and I need my own transport. I mean, have they got a vehicle? What are we going to do? And Rudolph's like, whoa, I don't know, beats me. Let's have a think on it. So what happens is he goes off for his weekly breathwork session and explains the situation. Says, I got the job. He's all excited about that, and he's feeling good. He says, but this is the situation. You know, I don't have my own transport. What am I going to do? And the breathworker says, well, so what do you need? He says, well, I need a vehicle that can get me around the world in 24 hours and be able to carry a lot of presents. That's what I need. So that's what they do the breathe on. And during the breathwork session, Santa is transported into this amazing place where he feels really connected. And he's just got this incredibly deep stillness inside him, this great feeling of being connected. And he feels his heart just filling up with energy, and his body's full of energy. And after the session, he's quite moved and he can't really say much. And so he goes back home, and he doesn't sleep too well. He's just got all this kind of energy moving through his body and all these ideas zinging around his head. But he lets just a few days pass and just gradually kind of letting the idea work through him. And then one day, this travelling Arctic gypsy type shaman character comes passing through the village where Santa lives, and he's selling this amazing vehicle that everyone is just talking about. He says, "Hey, I've got this sleigh," he says, "it's magical, it can travel at the speed of light almost, it'll get to far places incredibly quickly, and all it needs is 6 magical reindeer," or was it 8? I can never remember. So Santa thinks, well, that's really interesting. How much is it? And it's just, huge amount of money that Santa hasn't got. It's like tens of thousands of Santa money, and he just doesn't really have it. But of course, no one does either. But he goes back home and he thinks, how am I going to get the money to get this incredible vehicle? And the seller is going to be in the village for like a good week or so before he moves on. And Santa goes on and he goes back and to do another breathwork session. He says, look, I've found this vehicle. It's incredible. It's a big magical sledge, and it can go as fast as light almost, and it can get you there in the blink of an eye. But it's a lot of money. I don't have the money. And of course, they take that into the breathwork session, and he does a breathe on having the funds to get his amazing vehicle. And once again, he enters this really, really deep space, really, really still, really connected. And he comes back home. And a couple of days later, he gets this letter from a part of the family he's really not been in touch with for a long time. And it says, we're sorry to tell you that your great-grandfather has died, and you've been left an awful lot of money, actually. You've been given tens and tens of thousands of Santa money. And Santa thinks, oh my goodness, that's incredible. Oh, God, I hardly knew this man, and I've been left all this money. That's a miracle. So he writes back and says, I'm really sorry to hear that my great-grandfather's died. That's terrible news. And I'm sorry that you lost him. But of course, the money will come in very useful at this particular time. So if you can send it through to me, that'd be fantastic. So the bottom line is he receives all this incredible amount of money, which he's able to go and buy the sleigh with, and so becomes the owner of this incredible magical sleigh. And he says, I haven't got any way of shifting it. What am I going to do here? So of course goes back and does another breathwork session, and he says, look, I've got this sleigh and I've got the job starting in a week's time though, and I need some way of pulling it. So they do another session, and he's kind of just filling in the extra details now. He says, I need some way of powering this sleigh. And he does the session. He comes back home, and a couple of days later, Rudolph says to him, I've been talking to the reindeer, and we've found some extraordinary reindeer that might be able to help you with your sleigh. And they're willing to come in to work for you if you're interested. So Santa thinks, great, this is it. So he meets the reindeer and explains to them what's required to be done, and they're magical beings, and they say, not a problem. So he gets everything together, and the day of starting the work comes, and they say, right, here's your load. Here's the addresses you've got to get to, and you'll be starting tomorrow night shifting these, and good luck. Have you got your own transport? And Santa says, I've got it all sorted, it's all in hand. So he goes back to see his breathworker one more time before getting on the way, and he says, look, I've got it all now, I'm all ready to go. And the breathworker says, that's great news, I wish you the very best of luck with your first day's work. And if you get any problems along the way, and you're not sure what you're doing, just set yourself a little intention about what you want, and help that guide you on your way. And best of luck for tomorrow. So Santa is really excited about heading out. He spends the day getting his sleigh ready and getting the reindeer all fed. Somehow the other reindeers have been talking to Rudolph and been helping out, and Rudolph has now acquired all these amazing powers too, and he's going to be involved in getting the sled out. So they get all ready, and Santa looks at his address list and he's thinking, oh my goodness, there's so many, which way do I go? Where do I start? Oh, this is really confusing. And then he remembers the words from his breathwork. So just set your intention. So he sets an intention. He says, okay, my intention is to get all around all these houses between the sunset and sunrise tomorrow, in just the right order. They get it all done, and we have a safe journey, and we're able to get all the places we want to, and we make it a really enjoyable journey. So he sets that, and he just trusts that he's made the right decision, and off they go. And so he flies around the world, delivering presents to all the children by hopping down chimneys, because whoever rides this sled acquires these magical abilities to move quickly and be just where he needs to be, and he gets just to the right route, and he feels in his heart so good at what he's doing. He's so joyful to be doing this amazing work where he's given all these children around the world these amazing gifts. And so the time just passes so beautifully and enjoyably, and it all goes really well, and he gets all the gifts delivered, and he comes back, and he's done it all before sunrise, and he comes back and he feels really, really good about himself and really happy, and he feels like he's done a great night's work. So the thing about this job is he only has to do it once a year, so he has a lot of recreation time to look after himself and to keep well and get himself prepared. And so Santa Claus keeps working in this way. He goes and does the occasional session. He realises that actually, as he gets more and more presents to deliver, he needs some help, and he manages to get a factory and a load of elves come and work for him, and he sets intentions around his workforce and having everyone working really well, and lo and behold, his wife comes back. He's a transformed man, and she moves back in with him, and they start to have a really happy life together again. And he's no longer the gloomy figure that he once was, and he loves his life. And before, he was gloomy about where he lived. He was fed up with the snow and the cold, but now he's so grateful for this opportunity to be living in the world and working and being in this incredibly beautiful environment. So every moment to him is precious. And when he's going through his staff, he's a really generous character. He's got lots of kind words, and he's just a great person to be around. So life just gets better and better for him, and every year he gets his sleigh together and his magical reindeers, and he does his one night of gift delivering, which is a culmination of getting all the presents ready over the months before that, and makes lots of people around the world happy. And he feels just grateful and connected and really happy with his lot. So life is full of miracles. Have a great Christmas. John Paul.